song you're listening to right now is called Cave. It's one of the songs off my upcoming album, Reflection. If you're interested in music production and songwriting, stick around. I've got an interesting show for you. My name is Damian Wilson, and this is the breaking down of Reflection. For context, my little brother Anthony and I formed the band DNA about 3 years ago, and it all started when my older brother Leo thought of the band name DNA. That kind of was what convinced us to start making music together. The reason why he thought of DNA and why that's clever is because if you take the first initial of my name, D, and the first initial of Anthony's name, A, you get D and A, or just DNA for short. So we thought that was super clever, and we kind of took it and ran with it, and started making music ever since then. Recently, I've had a pretty big innovation in my creative process, which has caused me to start writing a lot more music. My creative process used to go something like this. Grab a piece of paper, grab a pencil, and start thinking of lyrics. And that never really worked. Sometimes I got some interesting ideas, but I never made any good music. This all changed about 8 months ago when I wrote a song called Don't Cry. I wrote this song simply by sitting in front of a microphone, recording random sounds around my desk, turning that into a beat, and then I made a song. I wrote, recorded, and released the entire song within a matter of hours. And this was really new to me. Just letting it flow naturally from my brain, from my emotions, it just worked much better for me. And I've now used this same process of recording whatever comes to mind to write several more songs and also tune up some of the older songs I wrote with my old method. Tell me about it. Tell me about it. Tell me about it. As a result of this innovation in my creative process, I've actually stumbled upon multiple interesting things you can do to improve your songwriting. First of all, I found out how to hide mistakes in my playing in interesting ways, as well as using free samples from the internet and also navigating without real drums or a bass guitar. I am a self-proclaimed very mediocre musician, and what I mean by this is I'm not very good at mastering something amazing sounding or doing super complex things on guitar or with my voice. And so to combat this, I've used various tools in my audio editing softwares to take what I've recorded and make them into something special. For example, listen to this. Did you catch that? Here, I'll play a bit of it again. There's clearly a brief hesitation in there which might mess up the sound of a song. But instead of scrapping it and starting over, I just repitched it like this, and this, and this, and then I overlapped them all on each other. That definitely sounds a lot cooler. Next, I'd like to talk about using samples from the internet in my songs. So as it turns out, there's actually some samples, some sounds on the internet that have a CC0 license, which means Creative Commons license. And that means there's no copyright on them, so you can use them. So I found these cool alarm clocks, and I repitched them into a chord. I also found this cool cart rattling sound that I wanted in my song, so I did it. Finally, I'd like to talk about what you can do if you don't have a real bass or real drums. Listen to this. That doesn't sound like much of a bass line, but if I take it and I pitch it down, that sounds a lot more like a bass line. Remember when I talked about recording random sounds around my desk to make the beat for Don't Cry? Well, here's what that sounds like. Basically, to summarize, you can use the tools you have to create yourself a bass line or drum beat. I'd like to give a special shout out to my friend Jack for recording the guitar track for Cave. Reflection is out on May 28th, 2021. Make sure you give it a listen. Thank you, and goodbye.